So, I was pre-recording some videos, and halfway through one, well, not quite halfway through, but it felt like halfway through, I noticed that my microphone was muted, and I immediately realized that I did not know how long my microphone had been muted, and it turns out it had been muted through the entirety. Sorry. It's gonna do it one more time. There it is. It had been muted through the entirety of the video you're about to watch. So I've decided to go back in and replay the video in my OBS and record a voiceover. I also can't get the audio of the video to work with adding the voiceover, so I'm just playing the Cardolan soundtrack, the Swan Fleet Before the Shadow soundtrack in the background. Hopefully it's not too loud, but at this point the quality of this video is already, let's just start. So we start here in the main menu with that aggressive music that you're not hearing now. I don't remember what I was saying. Can't double check. But I'm gonna hopefully get into there we go. Entering Middle Earth now. Gosh, this video is 39 minutes of just game audio. And you're also not gonna get to hear like Maneldir's voice, and mostly Maneldir's voice. So I was talking at the beginning of this about how if I had left this area, I probably never would have found him again, so I decided to stay even though I was under level. And that's what I was doing here, was like gesturing to the map, except you can't, my mouse didn't move, so you can't see that part. I thought floaty names were off, and then I turned them off, and then I had to turn them back on. I don't know if this is stuff that I talked about the first time or if I just did these things with no context. But I don't know what else to do now except talk about what I'm watching happen. The funny thing is, too, I now don't remember doing any of this already, and it's only been like a few minutes. So here I was talking about using my teleporter and then using it. This is going to be so taxing and boring, and I'm going to pay even less attention than when I'm actually playing. So I am almost questioning what I'm doing as I'm doing it. In fact, I'm going to record this, and as I'm saying this, I'm going to then put a community post and ask around, say, should I upload the version where I do the voiceover, or should I upload the version that's just the game audio and me not talking for the entire video? But I'm not going to do, just forget everything I just said, because I'm not going to do it, because I don't want to do one that's just the game audio and not me talk. I would love to do that sometime with something that speaks for itself a little bit more. Like Genshin or something. But I don't think I could do that, because there's so many minutes of just me riding this horse. Or Little, who goes even slower. I don't know if I talked about it for the first time in the next video or in this one, but today I streamed and I rated Sorousness, and I kept my stream chat hooked up. And so Sorousness rated Momo Misfortune, and then not too long after that, Momo Misfortune rated Rochella. And not too long after that, Rochelle is now rating Lil Simsy. Can't wait to see who Simsy rates. I don't know what to say about me, just because normally this is the time during the episode where I would stream of consciousness babble, but because I've already I've recorded 2 videos now since this one happened, and I don't remember anything I said earlier, and I also no longer have anything to say that isn't about me having to do this. Hopefully we'll get into me actually doing things so I can talk about what I was doing and why. Anyway, I gotta stop reading the Twitch chat. I should almost just close it. In fact, I can, because I don't have to worry about game audio anymore. I won't know who Simsy raids, but I didn't think about that before I did it. So now I'm in Sealand, and I believe I went up to the quartermaster first. I do kind of remember, but it's more like I'm watching and I'm thinking, if I was doing this right now, what would I do? And that's what I would have done. Was talking about stuff that I could get and couldn't get, and browsing, whatever. I don't remember exact specifics of what I said. As I'm rewatching this now, though, I see some things I could have gotten, but they were mostly just like power and morale potions. They weren't anything. Just panic double checked that my mic wasn't muted this time. And the quest I was just given was, I think, to either... It was to go back to an area that we had found the dead ranger earlier in the book. And I had to do a little bit of exploring, you'll see. This was the first time out of a few times that I couldn't decide if I wanted to do right or left, and I turned around a bunch. See, turned around. Changed my mind again. I think I run into a wall here because I'm not paying attention. Yep, I vaguely remember. Which sounds a little silly to say considering this was like barely an hour ago, but we've established that I've been through some stuff in that time. Also, let me know if the music's too quiet, because I believe I turned it up recently, and I wasn't sure if it was still maybe like, because in some of my earlier videos, In some of like the first or second ones, the music and the game audio is so loud and you can barely hear me. And then I tried to adjust it to a volume that I thought was appropriate, and it almost became like I'm screaming and the game audio is just barely playing in the background. Can't believe I have half an hour of this to go. I bet Simsy's gonna raid Vixella because Vixella only just went live. I don't know why I'm telling you this like it's important. It's happening for me now, but for you, this will have been yesterday to 2 days ago. So you know, it doesn't matter. I'm just filling time. This is what I was doing, the kind of thing I was doing while on Little running around earlier, but I'm sure what I said then was maybe, well, to say that what I said then was more interesting is probably a stretch, but after this, I'm also going to have to voice over the beginning of the next episode, and in the beginning of the next episode, before I noticed that my mic was muted, I went to pause the recording to try to find out how long my mic had been muted. And I then accidentally stopped the recording and thought about quitting, just disappearing. My video goes up tomorrow and then I never am heard from again. But instead, we improvise and problem solve. As you can see here, I'm having a little bit of an issue finding what I was supposed to do. I went circling around this box a few times, and then I'm about to notice that chest that I could have noticed just then, but didn't notice until now. Way to go, Task. Nice job. I'm so used to now, because my moniker has been Task Pumpkin for over like 2, almost 3 years. And I intended to go by the name Pumpkin, and then I found friends that are now my like actual friends playing Among Us, and they started calling me Task instead of Pumpkin. So that's what I think of myself. That is the name I think of. But I also believe that in my Wizard 101 video, I introduced myself and said, you can call me Pumpkin. Because that's what I was thinking I would go by. And now I just either, any, none, whatever. I might have gotten lost a little bit during this part as well. It's just a lot of running. Oh, this is a part I needed to go fight orcs. And I went to go fight them. I was like, let me follow the path, because the path will lead me to the area. So I had some issues with free roaming. And then I'm gonna find 3 of the 6 orc kind that I need to fight in a second, but then I'm gonna have to go further to find more. It's interesting to notice things I didn't notice earlier. I did not see that waterfall when I was there earlier. Completely blocked from my brain. There's a little tiny bit to that beat that sounds kind of like the horse footsteps. I've never noticed how small the game words are on this side of the screen. Because for me, they look normal. I should maybe address that in future recordings. So I found those 3, and now I'm looking for more. But even though this area was in the quest goal area, there weren't really any over here. I had to go pretty far the other way. I think I actually had to go almost... I actually think I did go all the way into Karanost to get the remaining 3. I had fought 3 orc kind, but I only had 2 pages at this point. Didn't notice those flies earlier either. I didn't mean to scare that doe. That's unfortunate. I ran this entire path on foot because I thought that I would come upon like orcs, half orcs, and goblins. I don't know what I was gonna say. Orcs, orc kinds, and goblins, I think is what I was gonna... That's wrong though. So see, I do that a lot. I catch myself before I say the thing that's wrong, and then I mention the thing that I was going to say that was wrong. And I don't know why, because I could have gotten away with it. But I decided to point out my mistake. I guess in some ways it helps me to make sense of my flub. I want to know why I said the thing that I was going to say. I really wish I had the original audio here, because when I get in here, some things are going to happen that I cannot and could not recreate the genuine terror that I was feeling. And there's actually so much more towards the end of this episode too, that the actual emotions that I experienced while I was playing are lost forever. I'm clearing my inventory to fit the loot box and some other stuff. For some reason, I was getting rid of all of my task items, even though I hadn't done any tasks on this tune today yet. I thought that they were, like, I didn't have them anymore. The slots were all full. But that was on my stout axe, not on this character. So I believe I tried to take both of these guys out with one move. I don't think it worked. It definitely didn't. But I do really like that that knife move that's just almost like an area of attack one rather than a targeted move. He scared me. He came out of nowhere. I was in my map minding my own business. Nobody said I was doing anything that went against your mission statement, sir. And he still came running out of this, you know, fortress that he invaded. You're in the wrong here, and you know you are. So why are you coming at me? Orcs. I believe I get the last couple pages right here. And then it's just a matter of me finding my way out of here. And I was very upset that I had to go all the way back to the farm. And I was nervous because I didn't want to leave Karanos this way, but I also didn't want to go all the way through. You can see me check the map as if like checking the map will change my situation. And then I resigned myself to going through Karanost. But as we will come to find out, I am not in the correct area to do that. So I'm running from all these orcs. Running, I believe Little's about to, die. Thinking that I'm about to get away. Come over here. I believe I jump off of something over here. Yep, see, that's when I realized that the bridge was way far down. My first little bit of parkour broke my leg. And then I was like, well, that's the obvious way I have to go, so I'm going to find a different way to get down there. I was very curious about this very powerful big boy, so I decided to fight him. And he was the worst thing I've ever fought in the game. Look at him. My goodness, he looks like something out of, like, if Resident Evil and Silent Hill got together and had a baby, it would be him. So I got back on Little thinking that I was going to make good progress going somewhere. And it turns out that the only way you could have gotten to this platform is to do what I did and to jump from where I jumped. Which means that the only way off of this platform was to be equally stupid. Which I believe I'm coming to realize now. Never found any stairs. I got off Little because I didn't want him to be involved in what I was about to do. I began my next round of parkour. And then this one, I didn't realize I'm floating here, and I thought I would just land on that one, but instead I fell all the way down, broke my leg again. Called Little back out and ran for my life. There were so many orcs right by this bridge. But luckily, we both made it. Oh, I think we both made it out all right. I believe at this point I was begging for Little's life. And it worked, because we made it. We crossed over into the peaceful half of this fortress. I don't think I stopped by the quartermaster again. I'm so sorry for yawning. I don't think I stopped by the quartermaster again. I do believe I stopped and sold some stuff and realized that I had gotten rid of all my task items. In fact, I think I'm about to get rid of them again. For no reason. Like, nobody told me or asked me to do that. I chose to do it. Almost sold some pork chops. Caught them at the last second. Couldn't figure out who I was supposed to talk to, and then remembered that I wasn't supposed to talk to somebody in this area, and then I couldn't find the stable master, but then I did. For half a second, I thought that I wasn't as far as I was, and that I had further to go, but I was exactly where I needed to be, and I went back to the farm. Also, these stable masters are expensive. These rides are expensive. They go from like 1 silver coin to 15 silver coins real fast. And for what? It's the same horse. It's the same area. well, not the same area. In fact, some of the distances are shorter. I can get all the way from Mickeldelving to Hobbiton for like 1 silver coin. But it also costs the same to go from Stock to Buckland. 1 silver coin. That seems a little bit absurd. I think one of those should be more expensive or one of those should be discounted. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. We are over halfway through this video by quite a bit, actually. Well, not quite a bit. It's about 40 minutes. We're 25-ish minutes in. So, yeah, a bit over half, but not much. Sorry. Don't have anything new to talk about until we get there. I'm kind of on a roll now of actually talking about the game. So I came over to this table. I noticed that Malenfang wasn't here anymore. And I don't really remember what that is. If he went somewhere, if I was told that he went somewhere or not. It's been a while. I got the journal. I didn't read it out loud. Can't read it out loud now either because it's too small. You can kind of make it out a little bit. I will explain now that I have the time and the ability to think. The gist of it is that there was the primary prince / king of Cardolan. Prince, I guess, because I think it was like a thing that they would call them prince even though they were the leader, because technically the leader of all men was the king of Gondor at the time, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, that detail's not super important, and I also just made it up, so whatever. Anyway, the Prince of Cardolan, he wandered into the Barrows, which is like the Dunedain's grave sites, which I might have talked about this episode or the next one. I don't know, but I mentioned that it's like in a world where you know that ghosts are like a thing, why would you create a hotbed of ghost activity by having like a large portion of land, massive? The Barrow Downs are just all graves and tombs. You've dedicated these massive land masses to essentially attract ghosts. They're all feeding off of each other's, vengeful energy. What was I talking about? Okay, so he wandered off into the Barrow, Great Barrow, I think it's called. Not sure. Didn't read the whole... Well, I did read the whole thing, but I also didn't read a lot of the quest dialogue leading up to this reveal, so I couldn't... Not important details. Important details are he had sons, and 2 of his sons were attacked and killed in the same way. The first one was also in the Great Barrow. I don't think that's what it's called, but I'm going to call it that. And then the second one was attacked and killed in this Dol Nil, which is like their stronghold, either before or after Caranost. I'm not sure. And this is all coming from Narndir's journal, and Narndir was the ranger that we found deceased near the beginning of this book. I'm putting the story together, and I'm actually talking about the story. This is kind of cool. I'm being chased by something. I don't remember what it was. I think I just ignored it. And I think I'm going to end up getting chased by a couple more things. And I was talking about how I didn't totally love the combat music in this area, but I love the Shire combat music. But there is one combat song in this area that I actually do really like. I don't know what the name of it is. I don't know how to describe it to you. It's just very pleasing. It seems like there's a lot, like not a lot of this episode left, but I did a lot of things. I don't recall if this is the time. No, it's not, so I won't say what I was going to say. Something different happened here. I feel like there's more that happened after this, but it almost feels like there's not enough time left in this episode for what happened. And now I don't know how long I was recording the next episode with also my mic muted, but I'll double check. This is not the last time that you will see me struggle to climb these hills over here. I saw that ghost and I said no thank you. I didn't notice the sky change like that the first time, but every time after this first time I did notice it. I like it a lot. I know it's gloomy, but I enjoy it. I think this was where I started talking about, like, why would you have this whole area dedicated to graves in a world where you know that the supernatural is real? I talked about how, like, in our world, you know, that would be considered superstitious, but in this world, I think it would behoove them to be a little bit more careful with their magic and with their stuff that they know is, like, true. I definitely... There was some reason why I was sent into... So I'm still climbing. After this, I'm pretty sure there's some reason why I was sent into these ruins from where the people I'm about to talk to. One of them's Meneldir. We know Meneldir. We love Meneldir. The other person, in a second, after I get over this massive hill and see that white and don't like it here, which was a good call. You shouldn't like it here. So I commented that every time I find Meneldir somewhere, he's with, like, some random woman. And then Oh, I had to go to the throne. That's why. I had to go to the throne room in Dolanil. And I had to fight whites to get there. And they're kind of creepy and I don't like them. I'm having a little bit of deja vu doing this, but I know that this is the first time I've done this. I just, for some reason, rounding a corner and seeing a skeleton just really tugs at like a muscle memory somewhere within me, and I don't know why. So I thought the one with the orange was going to be tougher, so that's why I attacked him first, but then I got him real good. Got a couple more of these guys. I decided I didn't want to fight that one, but that I had to fight this one. And then I was hoping that I was going the right way, and it turned out that I was. And then I saw him, and I was struck with fear that I didn't even notice this one on the stairs. And he then proceeded to, I believe, he left a trap for me and almost knocked me all the way out because I ran up here, got up here, and then to see that's where I don't know if it was him or if it was that white, but it took me almost out. And I found out I could use that as like a block break. Couldn't tell which one was the throne room because it's all ruins. Turned out it's that one with the 2 staircases. I was nervous about him because he seemed tough, but I don't think he was that tough. And then there was another one like him right over there, but it was a priest. And I didn't realize that one over there, the priest, was the same as the one with the red name card. And I realized that he wasn't as tough as I thought he was. Still pretty tough, but I'm pretty tough too. Came up here into the throne room. Was interested that for some reason I could click on the throne. And then I thought about sitting on the throne to read the journal and then decided that that seemed incorrect. So I went over here and clicked it. And because of the pattern of reading these journal entries, I turned around to find this scene. Didn't notice that he was being stabbed the first time. And it turns out that there is the prince that we talked about earlier, and he was actually, you know, earlier in Narndir's journals, he talked about the gray fear, and that was like some sort of shadowy concept or figure, and then it turns out that the gray fear was the reanimated prince who had originally gone missing in the barrows and then came back and killed his sons. And this is his grandson, and I think the last prince. And he killed him too. So then I had to bring the journal back to Meneldir. I wonder if I was supposed to click on that spear separate from... Oh well, too late now. Saw that priest again. He started chasing me because his name was red. That really freaked me out. I think I went the wrong way here. So I had to then double back and confront all of the things that were chasing me except psych. I'm scared, so I'm still running. I don't remember if Little survived this chase or not. I believe he's about to not. This guy got him, yeah. So then I'm being chased by like 4 or 5 undead things. So even though I saw Maneldir, I just kept running. Waiting for the last couple things. About to yeet myself off this cliff. Changed my mind at the last minute. No longer being chased. Nervous about going back in. And finally, in the final stretch of the episode, we come to where I was turning the quest in. Trying to pick between these two, I decided to go for the lens of agility because I really want to just really hammer the agility home. The recording is about to end, so I think my channel art is going to come back up. Yes, it is. And I'm going to say thank you for watching and have a great day.